can see the mangled remains of that auto rickshaw. And imagine this auto rickshaw is not even the auto rickshaw where the blast happened. Around 15 fire tenders were dispatched to the area, but to no avail because it was very, very late. The blast had happened, it was immediate, it was severe, the fire was huge. Without any doubt, if you look at it, this appears to be a terrorist attack. The severity and the intensity, this is a major incident. The visuals which we are seeing on the screen are visuals just around 7 o'clock. This blast is reported somewhere between 6:45 and 7 o'clock. The death.
The startup park by IQ Ventures continues to set new benchmarks for India's innovation ecosystem. And today's Deep Tech conference in Bengaluru exemplifies this vision. The venue is alive with energy as founders, creators and investors gather to exchange ideas and launch new ventures. A highlight of the day is the arrival of Akshat Agarwal, founder of Arya, whose mission is to create dynamic co-living and co-working spaces for ambitious builders. As Akshat shares his story, Startup Park stands out as a platform empowering innovators to turn bold ideas into reality, fostering an environment and atmosphere where daring projects and meaningful communities thrive side by side. At Startup Park, events like Deep Tech Conference offer a space for experimentation and real connection, perfectly aligned with Akshat's vision for Arya. During his expert talk, he challenges attendees to imagine future societies, harnessing collaboration to reshape urban living.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
The visuals which we are seeing on the screen are visuals just around 7 o'clock. This blast is reported somewhere between 6:45 and 7 o'clock. The death toll is rising right now. We have NIA on the spot. This is a huge explosion because there are the mangled remains of multiple cars. We are told that in a whole area of 100-150 meters, nothing really was not brought to absolute ruin. You see the signs of the devastation, ladies and gentlemen.
Delhi blast. Wake-up call against radical terror. Radicalization debate takes center stage. Time for Muslims to call out Islamist radicalization. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला.
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
If you can see the mangled remains of that auto rickshaw, and imagine this auto rickshaw is not even the auto rickshaw where the blast happened. Around 15 fire tenders were dispatched to the area, but to no avail, because it was very, very late. The blast had happened, it was immediate, it was severe, the fire was huge. Without any doubt, if you look at it, this appears to be a terrorist attack. The severity and the intensity, this is a major incident. The visuals which we are seeing on the screen are visuals just around 7 o'clock.
Startup Park Bangalore was buzzing with excitement at today's Deep Tech conference as leaders in technology and entrepreneurship came together to drive forward the country's innovation agenda. Abdul Samad, founder and CEO of Appetite Studio, took center stage with his vision for harnessing Web3 and blockchain to solve public challenges.
So what Shafi has done with the Startup Park is, I would say, is the beginning of what Shafi has in mind. Like whatever you see here, all these startups that have come here, all the startups that have been incubated, all of those 9 to 5 people who have become dreamers of something very big. Like it's just the beginning of it. So there's going to be, like I've spoken on stages, there's going to be a lot of network states and discussions around it, and future possibilities of what it could be, and a sort of similar great things that could come out of what is just the beginning as a startup park.
Startup Park by IQ Ventures proved to be the perfect launchpad for such ideas, offering the infrastructure, mentorship and collaborative energy that fuel projects with purpose. With Samad's story at its heart, Startup Park continues to inspire and enable those dedicated to shaping a better tomorrow through innovation.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome back. You're watching the special broadcast here on Republic TV, ladies and gentlemen. While we talk about the Delhi blast, the 10/11 conspiracy, there is something sinister that's happening. And it all is linked to Pakistan. And we wanted to break away from the 10/11 conspiracy to another bit of breaking news update that we're getting in. You may have heard of flights being delayed, flights being affected in different airports, but mostly the Delhi airport, all terminals at the Delhi airport a few days ago. It now appears that too was a sinister Pakistani design. Shavan, should we go to the breaking first up?
Well, in fact, it is about GPS spoofing. We'll try and break it down for you to understand what exactly is GPS spoofing. In a layman term, it is essentially interfering with the signal that an aircraft actually gets, leading to a situation that for a couple of minutes you would actually get the wrong signal. For instance, if the aircraft is about to land at the IGI airport, it gets the wrong signal, leading to a absolute chaos for the ATC as well as the pilot. In fact, Just about a few hours ago, we are given to understand the DGCA, in fact, has now told all the airlines that the moment you report GPS spoofing, you have to do it within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring the details of the GPS spoofing. And I think this tells us what really happened at the Delhi airport. Just to tell our viewers a little bit about what we've understood from the details that Shravan has been able to gather through our reporters, Soumya, Harsha, everyone on the ground. Harsha, in fact, has been tracking the aviation story, and she spoke about how it could be a bigger threat than what we initially thought. Delhi's airspace faced a massive GNSS or GPS disruption on the 5th of November. That's roughly about 7 to 8 days ago. Over 800 flights were delayed, and we all reported it. Complete chaos at the airports, especially because of Delhi being impacted. Flights were either delayed, diverted at Delhi's IGI airport during this disruption. And let's also tell you what we know so far about GPS spoofing. Pilots reported loss of navigation and position errors, which effectively means in layman's language, Shravan, that when they were landing during an approach, essentially they went blind. Is that the right way to put it? When you're landing, you go blind.
So you're basically interfering with the internal system of an aircraft. So there are certain calculations based on which the aircraft basically lands. And if you try to mess with that, it could actually have a disastrous ending, if I may say so, because that is exactly what most of the airlines have actually reported. And now the DGC has gotten into the picture.
Okay, so should we go across to Harsha? Harsha joining us with the details. Let's go across to her. Harsha, how sure are we that this was a GPS spoofing attempt? If it was a GPS spoofing attempt, do we know where it was done from? Because if the range of such an exercise is maximum 100, 120, 150 kilometers, where was it being done from?
So, Niranjan, Shravan, this is not something which is very common. We can't ignore it because it's a GPS spoofing. It doesn't happen. It's not like a technical issue in an aircraft which can be fixed, maintained or repaired. It is a proper system which is fitted in the aircraft, in the cockpit of the aircraft. And GPS spoofing happens, Niranjan, Shravan, 6 nautical miles above the runway. When the aircraft is about to land, it's 6 nautical miles away from the runway. At that particular timing, the GPS spoofing is happening, and almost for 15 to 20 days, multiple airlines, multiple carrier complained to the DGCA, which was happening at Delhi airport. First time GPS spoofing happened at Delhi airport, and the DGCA took the notice of it after regular complaints. There was one particular aircraft which was supposed to land in Delhi, but it got diverted to Amritsar because of the GPS spoofing. The GPS stopped working, the navigation switch went to left, then to right, and the pilot couldn't understand exactly where the plane has to land. And that was the big goof up which happened inside the aircraft. That is how GPS spoofing happens. The pilot will not know the navigation, the pilot will have no idea about the air traffic, the pilot will have no idea which plane is coming on the left direction, which is on the right direction. The pilot will have no controls of the GPS navigation. That is the kind of loss of signal which is happening 16 nautical miles mid-air. This is what we have got to know from the regulatory body, from the BTAC and from the dial as well. And today we have got to know that from past 2 days, there was something fishy which was happening in the Mumbai airspace. The airspace, the international it was monitored that the international flights which are going through Arabian Sea, this particular route P594 and L639, these are the international routes around Pakistan coastal area and the Arabian Sea. The GPS is monitored and it's seen that it is fixated from that particular area. The GPS spoofing is happening, and therefore the fresh notam was issued that no international flight will use this particular route. So now P574 and L639 route will not be used by the international flight. This was a particular notam which was issued to all the airlines carrier, because now the military is of the opinion that something is happening. There's something fishy which is happening. So Pakistan is not only affecting us on the border, but also in the air as well. And therefore, proper monitoring is being done by DGCA in the air. If we talk about the New Delhi route, if we talk about the Mumbai route, and Mumbai airspace is being monitored from last 2 days, and some serious activity has been noticed. Multiple international aircraft have complained about the GPS spoofing. We have got that number is around 10 to 15 international flight, which have clearly stated that the GPS signal stopped working. There was a loss of GPS signal, and suddenly we couldn't navigate that where exactly to land. There was a flight which was supposed to land at Mumbai airport, but it didn't land at Mumbai airport. It rather got diverted because of the GPS spoofing. So this is the we can say the gravity of spoofing which is happening, and it's very concerning. It's not the technical issue, it's the system which is fixed inside the aircraft. It's the US inbuilt system in most of the Boeing and most of the Airbus as well. And now the pilot in command and most of the pilots are continuously demanding from the government as well that there should be some Indian made system in the aircraft, in the air carriers, because it's now hard to believe that how the systems are being hacked. If it is a hacking, it's a different kind of warfare, it's a different kind of attack, it is directly linked to cyber or not, this still is unknown, because investigation agencies now are working with MOCA, with the AIB and with the regulatory body to exactly point out how this GPS spoofing is happening. But it's a matter of concern. It's very troubling for the international flight who have misrouted and not been routed to the particular path where they were supposed to land. Back to you.
Harsha, be with me. Captain Randhawa is also joining us on the broadcast. In fact, I remember the day we broke the story, he was live with us, and this evening when we broke the details of the GPS spoofing, he spoke about it briefly. But it's now confirmed, Captain Randhawa, and we now know that there is a character to all of it, a face to all of it, and that face is Pakistan that is attempting to do this. War without weapons.
Absolutely, what you rightly said, that GPS spoofing, when we call it, is the GPS jamming, which prevents the receivers from locking onto the satellite signals. Spoofing basically involves broadcasting counterfeit satellite signals to deceive GPS receivers, causing them to compute incorrect position, navigation, and timing data. Spoofing, actually, if you have seen in the European routes, it starts on some parts of West Asia, and then when we go into the Iranian airspace, into Turkish airspace, and parts Iraq and all that that area, Turkey, that part, and now it has started occurring close to the Indian borders or in Indian context. So this is basically what has happened a few days back when we were contemplating that what has happened in Delhi. That was due to automatic, this system which is there in the ATC, which sends the signals to the automatic tracking system. That was one area where AI had initially said that has caused disruption of flights because they had resorted to manual flight planning by the ATC controllers. But, however, Mr. Dole has now said that there is spoofing of GPS, which is taking place in the Indian airspace. Now, this is a very serious thing. Now, GPS signals, when they give you a wrong position, like I'll tell you, a runway which looks at a particular point, it may be shifted about a couple of miles away from where it's supposed to be. Now, in case of, poor visibility and all, where the pilot is not supposed to be, and it will execute an approach. So it could be dangerous. Now, this spoofing, someone is doing, could be doing through the cyber attacks. This is a silent type of war, which and the world needs to take a big cognizance of this GPS spoofing which is taking place, because it's becoming a serious threat day by day.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Captain Randhawa, for putting this into perspective. A story that we'll be tracking very closely, because there is a lot more than what meets the eye right now. Who exactly is behind it? And the fact of the matter is that this is not just limited to Delhi airport. There's more coming in. We'll get you more details. Niranjan, bringing back the focus on these terror groups that have been operating. One angle was, of course, the Doctor terror module. The other, which perhaps not many have spoken about, but the real threat really came in from the Ryzen attack, or the biological attack that was essentially being played out by an ISIS module. In fact, earlier today, we've reached out to those who were part of this entire terror module and what were they essentially planning to do. Now, this lethal poison was being extracted from castor seeds from a factory in Gandhinagar. And we have actually done a full-fledged investigation to essentially find out what were they really planning to do.
Interestingly, in this particular case as well, there was a doctor. Right. Now, whether this doctor was linked to this entire module in Faridabad, prima facie, as of this minute, no. But this doctor has a very interesting history. He's from Hyderabad, Dr. Syed, went to China, studied medicine in China, returned from China, had recce'd several targets, not just in Delhi NCR. He had recce'd targets in Delhi. In Delhi, Sabzi Mandi was one of the targets. UP RSS terror headquarters. This is him. That's Ahmad Mohiuddin Syed, the doctor, the terror doctor, the Ryzen terror doctor, who wanted to inject a poison nearly 200 times more lethal than cyanide, and tasteless, odorless, can kill people. And the idea was to target sabzi mandis, target fruit markets. Why? Because this Ryzen poison, when you inject it into fruits, into vegetables, can kill thousands of people, and you won't even know what was in it. Here's more about the Ryzen terror module of Gujarat that largely went unreported because of the blast in Delhi.
Just a week back, Gujarat Anti-Terrorism Squad arrested 3 alleged Islamic State-linked operatives, including Hyderabad's terror doctor, Ahmed Mohiuddin Syed, in connection with the terror plot. The accused were planning a Ryzen attack. It could have been India's first major bioterror attack. The horrific plan was foiled by Gujarat Anti-Terrorism Squad when they nabbed 3 people from Gandhinagar on November 8th who were accused of attempting to produce Ryzen, a deadly chemical compound, to carry out a bioterror attack. Police say that one of the accused, the 35-year-old terror doctor, Ahmed Mohiuddin Syed, was planning to use Ryzen, a poison so lethal it can kill an adult even when consumed in minute quantity. The trio is believed to be part of the ISIS module who have been studying the process to extract Ryzen from castor seeds from their apartment workshop. When spoken to Syed's brother, Umar Farooq, Farooq claims that his brother is being framed as he went to Gujarat just to make a business deal.
देखिए, ये जो अभी सैटरडे के बाद में जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस मीट हुई, उसके बाद में से सबको ये रिवील हुआ कि एसेटॉन और राइजिन के कॉम्बिनेशन से कुछ पॉइज़न तैयार हो सकता है. इससे पहले शायद मैं समझता हूँ कि शायद ही किसी को मालूम था होगा, नॉर्मल पब्लिक को, डॉक्टर्स को भी, इवन डॉक्टर्स को भी उससे पहले दोनों के कॉम्बिनेशन से एक बड़ा पॉइज़न हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं मालूम था शायद. तो ये पहली मर्तबा ऐसा सुनाई में आया. तो भाई भी जिस तरीके से वो घर पर रेजिन ला करके और वो जो पल्प निकाले और उसमें एसीटोन मिलाए, तो उनको देखने से भी कोई ऐसा नहीं लग रहा था कि भाई को मालूम है. भाई को बताया गया कि ये पॉइज़न तुमको बनाना है और ला करके हमें देना है. ऐसा शायद उनको नहीं बोला गया, बस उनको ये बोला गया कि ये काम है, ये प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है आपको और आपके इतने अमाउंट आपको मिलेगा. ऐसा कुछ वो कहकर उनको अनजान, इनोसेंट रखकर उनसे काम करवाया गया और उन्हें जो है ना वहाँ लाने के बाद वो लेकर उनको ट्रैप में डाल दिया गया.
With these arrests, Gujarat ATS prevented one of the deadliest terror incidents in recent years. The busted plot exposes the shocking shift from arms and ammunition to bioterror attacks. India narrowly escaped from what could have been a deadly bioterror attack.
Swarali, my colleague, is joining us live from Gujarat. She's been tracking this module. She's been speaking to the ATS teams there. Swarali, where were they arrested from? What was their plan? When were they going to execute it?
Yes, Niranjan. So let me take you through the events and sequence of how they were arrested. Initially, Dr. Sayyid Moinuddin, who is 35 years old, he was arrested from the Adalat toll plaza of Ahmedabad. He started from Hyderabad. He was traveling towards Gujarat. And on a specific location, he was supposed to receive the parcel, and this parcel was the drop dead by the other two colleagues, namely Azad and Suhail. Now they belong to Uttar Pradesh, and Dr. Sayyid Moinuddin, who's an MBBS degree holder from China, belongs to Hyderabad. Now, during the investigation, lot of raw material to prepare ricin, which is a very potent biological weapon, which was to be unleashed. And as we are discussing, the Reiki was done for Delhi, Ahmedabad, Lucknow, and even Jammu and Kashmir. Two of the others who belong to Uttar Pradesh stayed in Jammu and Kashmir for a week, and several locations were Reikied. Now, talking about the entire sequence, how he was arrested, and what was the plan. According to the investigation done by Gujarat ATS, he was caught, he was nabbed at Adalat Toll Plaza, and post his arrest, other two were arrested because links were found in his mobile. There were contacts, communication was done, and these communication links led Gujarat ATS to arrest both others who had conducted this Reiki in several states, several parts of India, to unleash and uncover this deadly attack, which could have been the first first major bioweapon attack in India. Now, as we are discussing that it's 200 times more potent than ricin, it can be ingested and inhaled. It is odorless, colorless, so through air it can be surpassed, and through food also it can be surpassed, and the reason cannot be detected because the kind of toxin it is. On the other hand, when Gujarat ATS went to Hyderabad and raids were conducted, in the Rajendra Nagar, his resident, Dr. Sayyid Moinuddin's resident, at that time, even more raw material was procured. On one hand, his brothers informed Republic that he was unaware about the intention and the kind of lethal weapon he was dealing with. But on the other hand, Gujarat ATS claims that he is a very smart individual who is highly radicalized. So it's not a case that he did not know what he was doing, what plan of action he was having. But yes, till now, the plan of action is not clear through the investigation. But according to the sources in Gujarat ATS, in coming few days, we can have major developments in this story because investigation is still on. On the other hand, it's very important information we have that he was in connect with a handler who is located on Pakistan-Afghanistan border, Abu Khadija.
So what we'll do is we'll keep a close track on that story. We'll keep a close track on that story because we have to move on. We're running short of time now. The next story we had was on the ANFO, or the ammonium nitrate fuel oil mix that was used in the Delhi blast. Now, we were told, Shravan, that Umar Nabi, the car bomber, this module of Muzammil, Adil, Shaheen and Umar Nabi, the four of them had managed to gather about 20 lakh rupees. Umar Nabi was tasked to go and buy the ammonium nitrate from Nu in Haryana, from Mewat. There was a CCTV, very interesting CCTV footage that we had, not this one, there's another CCTV. It's an early morning footage from the morning of 10, where he sees the toll booth entering Mewat. Now, obviously, he was purchasing explosives, or purchasing / moving / loading explosives. Shravan, tell us more about this ANFO.
Well, in fact, the last it was actually used was in the Coimbatore blast that took place. Similarity, of course, is being drawn with the last blast that took place in the national capital, that was at Delhi High Court. But as far as ammonium nitrate with fuel oil is concerned, it is dense. And if it was actually mixed with other components, it could have been even worse. But having said that, it had its own impact levels. Now, the other important aspect here is that this was just what I'm picking up from my sources, that only 40 kilogram. That's what we have just been able to put together. 40 kilogram was all that was actually used in this explosion. Had they actually used what they were essentially planning, that is 350 kilogram of ammonium nitrate and perhaps a little more than that, and of course 2,900 kilogram of IED related materials, then it would have been complete mayhem. But here, ladies and gentlemen, 40 kilogram, that's all that was actually used for ammonium nitrate, and we have lost 13 innocent lives and over 24 of people who have already been injured.
That's 1%, almost 1% of what they had. Just 1%. Just think about it. Take a look at this report. What ammonium nitrate fuel oil is capable of and the plans they had with this explosive.
6:51 p.m. Watch this visual. In a split second, the Hyundai i20 explodes. 1 second later, watch what remains of the site. Vehicles blown up. Carcass of metal at the signal. All of this in a split second. That was the impact of the ammonium nitrate and fuel oil, the concoction that triggered the IED. Also known as ANFO, it is a powerful industrial explosive that is used to cause damage on a large scale. This makes it the most preferred explosive to use amongst terror groups. The i20 Hyundai car used to carry out the blast was also laden with ANFO and IEDs. A deadly mix of fertilizer and fuel. ANFO is often used in mining, but now increasingly exploited by terror outfits mass casualty attacks. Ammonium nitrate was acquired by the bomber Nabi from Nuh and Gurugram in Haryana. He made several trips like this one seen on the morning of the blast on CCTV. This is the Hyundai i20 spotted near Mewat. During the raid hours before the blast, investigators recovered a total of 2,900 kilograms of explosive material from 2 houses in Faridabad, 358 kgs from house number 1 and 2,563 kilograms packed in 88 bags from house number 2. With the confirmation of ANFO being used, investigators are getting to the bottom of the scale of what was planned through these blasts. Was it 1 or was it for 4 or 32 is now being reported.
Well, one of the key visuals that came in this morning was also of Umar Nabi, the car bomber, getting out of a mosque on the day of the bombing. What was he doing in the mosque?
Well, in fact, it turns out that centers of radicalization, as we have been pointing out, they thought that this would have been a safer place to be in. And in fact, when the last call actually came in from the handler, this was to park himself for a while before he could actually carry out the plan in a hurried manner. This image that you're going to see right now is just hours before the blast was carried out.
In the Delhi Red Fort blast case, a new CCTV footage has surfaced, revealing chilling new details about the movements of the main accused, Dr. Umar Nabi. Moments before the deadly explosion that killed 12 near the historic Lal Killa, the terror doctor was captured entering and exiting a mosque in Old Delhi. CCTV footage show Umar entering the Faiz-e-Ilahi Mosque near Ramleela Maidan opposite to Turkaman Gate, where he stayed for over 10 minutes before leaving his white Hyundai i20 around 2:30 p.m. on Monday.
Let me show you, we were not, there was no CCTV footage, CCTV visible from outside, but now we'll show you the exact CCTV from which the pictures and videos that Republic is showing you right now. If you can look at the frame, you see that is the CCTV at which Umar looked at while entering this masjid, and then few hours later he carried out the sinister act. He carried out the blast at Red Fort, Delhi. You can see that exact CCTV, and when you actually look closely, the surrounding and then corroborate it with the image that is that Republic is showing you, that CCTV which caught Umar Nabi entering the masjid, because there was a lot of confusion. There was some gap between Umar entering Delhi and driving around half of the Delhi, moving to most of the places, most of the prominent places. He entered the parking lot, the Red Fort parking lot at 3:19 p.m.
According to the sources, the mosque where he stayed was part of his final route recce before executing the high-intensity blast near the Red Fort, which shook the nation earlier this week. The latest visuals add another crucial layer to the probe, exposing how the bomber used Delhi lanes and religious premises to stay off surveillance before the attack.
So that's it on this edition of the special broadcast that we had on 10/11. But our investigation continues, Shravan, and at 8 and 9 p.m. two big debates coming up. At 7:30, a special show on defense. But I think the investigation is just going to pick up pace from here. A lot more yet to be revealed.
Well, it's far from over, ladies and gentlemen, and only Republic Media Network keeping eyes and ears open to get you every minute detail of this entire investigation and why you should remain alert, because this matters to each one of us.
Thanks for watching.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रूंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रूंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
The visuals which we are seeing on the screen are visuals just around 7 o'clock. This blast is reported somewhere between 6:45 and 7 o'clock. The death toll is rising right now. We have NIA on the spot. This is a huge explosion because there are the mangled remains of multiple cars. We are told that in a whole area of 100-150 meters, nothing really was not brought to absolute ruin. You see the signs of the devastation, ladies and gentlemen.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ, सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
If you can see, the mangle remains.
Hello and welcome. You watching a special broadcast of Republic Defence. As we come to an end of the Tri-Services Trishul, this exercise has highlighted the jointness of our services, one of its kind that has been carried out in the western side of our country. You've had multiple services basically coming together. In fact, you've had not just the Indian Armed Force, but you've also had the Border Security Force, the Coast Guard also participating in this Tri-Services exercise. Trishul was basically conducted by the Indian Navy as the lead service jointly with the Indian Army as well as the Indian Air Force starting early of November. This was after Operation Sindoor that we have seen this kind of an exercise that has been carried out. It was carried out by the Western Naval Commander of the Indian Navy along with the Southern Commander of the Indian Army and of course the Southwestern Command of the Indian Air Force as the principal participating formations. Now the exercise featured simulation, multiple simulations that was carried out, and of course, for the first time, you've had the Rudra Battalion also coming out in full display. What is it that the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force really did in this particular exercise? We've shown you what the Army had to do. Tonight, on this special broadcast, we are focusing on the exercises that were carried out by the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force.
Over the golden sands near Jodhpur, the skies come alive. Elite special forces descend from Indian Air Force aircraft with precision, a para-drop like clockwork, every movement synchronized, every landing flawless. But hundreds of kilometers away on India's western coastline, another battlefield unfolds. The beaches of Porbandar have transformed into live combat zones, the stage for the AMFEX 2025, India's largest amphibious warfare exercise.
India's largest tri-services exercise unfolds before the western coast of India. Right now at Porbandar, this is a strategic location where the AMFEX 2025, part of the Tri-Services exercise Trishul 2025 is folding live before my eyes. We will be seeing coastal warfare, landing drills, slithering operations, MiG-29K, carrier battle groups in full force and action. The INS Jalashwa parked right off the coast. We will be able to determine the force and might of all three forces. The Indian Army, Navy and Air Force in tandem will pull off this beautiful exercise today.
What you're seeing is more than just a rehearsal. It is the real face of modern warfare. Heliborne troops, naval landings, real ammunition. Every branch of India's defense forces working as one. As dawn breaks, seeking and Mi-17 helicopters roar overhead, executing sling operations to drop assault troops directly into the combat zone. Below them, BMP armoured vehicles deploy smoke screens, shrouding the coastline in a tactical fog.
Behind me is the mighty BMP. This is a Russian-made troop transport provider. This is the workhorse of the Indian Army. It has been providing troop transportation and armor protection to our forces for decades now. This will be vital to our coastal landing exercises today. It will provide a smoke screen and will be the first on land as armor protection provided to the landing forces.
Every frame here demonstrates one principle: jointness.
A unified tri-services response where command, coordination and communication work as one seamless mechanism. At the center of the operations is INS Jalashwa, a 16,000-ton amphibious vessel. It's both the command and logistics hub. Capable of carrying 1,000 fully armed troops, 4 landing craft and 6 helicopters, it embodies India's amphibious warfare capability. What elevates AMFEX 2025 is the integration. Ashni Brigade's drones scout inland, feed targeting coordinates to artillery units and relay real-time imagery to commanders. The battlefield is no longer blind. It is data-driven, it is predictive. From the seas, India's most advanced warships reinforced the assault. INS Surat, INS Imphal and INS Tabar each represent a chapter in India's naval evolution. INS Surat, the destroyer, redefining maritime firepower. Armed with 16 BrahMos missile and 32 Barrack 8 air defense systems, she can track multiple targets with her MF Star ISR radar, all while remaining 75% indigenous. INS Imphal, India's pride from the northeast. Her extended range Barrack 8 ER missiles can neutralize threats 150 kilometers away. Built for endurance, equipped with NBC protection systems, she is capable of operating in contaminated or high threat zones. INS Tabar, the veteran. 2 decades of active duty, now refitted with BrahMos missiles and upgraded defensive systems. Agile, dependable and battle-proven, she is the fleet's reliable workhorse. Together, these 3 vessels form India's maritime trident: speed, range, resilience. Over land, sea and the sky, the message is crystal clear. India's military readiness is not an aspiration. It is an operational reality. As operations begin, the skies come alive. Advanced light helicopters roar above the horizon, airdropping commandos deep inside simulated enemy territory. Their mission? Disrupt enemy supply lines, block reinforcements, and strike command hubs before the ground offensive begins.
The multi-domain operations are taking place and it requires the active involvement of all the wings. Here you will see that the troops of the Indian Army, they are being dropped to the location. You will see the drones already hovering in. Those locations that you see, the 2 tent-like structures, these are the enemy locations. And here, one of the hepters of the Indian Army, that hepter is going down. It will drop the troops into this very area because troops, it is not always possible to have the forces on ground always. place, and it is a time-taking process to drop them or to bring them via road or via these offbeat tracks. So what is being done? You will see that the troops are being dropped at that very place using the hepters, and then is the multi-domain operations taking place. This has the there you will see the troops will slither down. These are the special forces, these are the troops from the regular infantry wing that are now being dropped at that very location. So once the troops are dropped at that very location, they will very soon join back for the operations, because if we speak of this very area, this area is really a challenging area of operations. And as I'll request Rawatji to move away from that very area and get on to this drones, because drones are not only providing an aerial surveillance, but drones are also providing an active real-time information for the Indian Armed Forces of the ongoing operations, that how these operations are to be conducted. With the slithering of the troops on the ground, the operation and the stage is all set, that now the advances, the offensives are launched against the adversary that is hiding still in its bunkers. And this is how the Indian Army has prepared this exercise, Akhand Prahar, that is the uninterrupted strikes on the enemy.
On the ground, artillery batteries open up, thundering across the dunes as the long-range guns neutralize fortified bunkers. Surveillance never stops. ALH helicopters, fitted with optical sensors and thermal imagers, track every single movement below.
Indian Armed Forces are carrying out highly contested and complex battle operations here in Rajasthan, and here you will see that it is the advanced light helicopters that are entering the war zone. This is the multi-domain operations that are taking place in the deserts of Rajasthan, and what you see is these are the advanced light helicopters of the Indian Army's Aviation Wing. This exercise that you see on your screen, this is taking place close to the Indo-Pakistan international border. The message to the adversary is that any provocation will be seen as act of war, and it will have repercussions for them. And for the same, Indian Armed Forces are preparing themselves under the largest exercise that is taking place post Operation Sindoor, exercise Trishul. And here you will see that the advanced light helicopters, they are moving in the area. The location that they are crossing, they also have the deployment of the artillery 130 mm. These are the self-propelled guns that have already been stationed there to give adversary a befitting reply. Reason being that these are the highly contested and complex battle operations that usually take place in this area, because this area in the past has also seen the provocations from the adversary, and that's why this exercise is taking place in this general area of the Rajasthan's Jaisalmer, where it is not only a challenge to fight this, but the challenge is to survive. So braving all the odds, it's the Indian Army, it's the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy when it comes to the maritime security zone. They are also ensuring that every nook and corner of the country is secure and attempt from the adversary is given a befitting reply.
From the command posts, officers monitor live feeds, adjusting battlefield plans in real time. Above the battlefield, unmanned aerial vehicles sweep the sky. UAVs and rotary platforms coordinate to provide continuous surveillance, mapping out enemy patterns, transmitting live data to ground batteries, and enabling real-time targeting. As the skies stay active, T-90 Bhishma main battle tanks take charge on the ground. Advancing in formation, they crush enemy defenses in a full-scale simulated assault. Combat drones fly overhead, dropping explosives on bunkers, perfecting the model of non-contact warfare, where technology takes the front line.
In the enemy's area, now the offensives have started. Here what we have is the tanks of the Indian Armed Forces, the Indian Army. They have already hitting ground. You will see in the visuals that the loud bangs that you hear, these are the tanks, the T-90 Bhishma tank that is known as the one of the main battle tanks of the Indian Armed Forces that has already started moving in the area. This tank has the capability that it can strike 5 kilometers in the enemy area, and once this 125 mm shell is fired from the tank, then it has the enemy completely decimated. On the other side, if Rawatji is in a position to show you the ridge line, you will see the troops are also advancing along with the tanks that are rolling on the ground. This is being done so that a coordinated effort, be it by the mechanized wing, by the artillery wing, by the air defense wing, and also the infantry wing, they are moving along with each other. So it is a shoulder to shoulder operation technique that is being adapted by the armed forces. Reason being that what we are witnessing is high intensity and complex operation. Here you will see that the drones are also taking now route. This I'll request Rawatji to, if we can pull off from that, and we can go to the drones that have been brought into the operations. These drones are to ensure that the view that we have is a multi-layered view of the situation that is taking place. And on the other hand, you will see that the helicopter also that has dropped the troops. Now it is the assault that is taking place. I'll request Rawatji to be on the visuals that 2 blasts have taken place at the enemy location. This is to ensure that the enemy's powers are curtailed at very start, with the troops yet to reach the spot. These are the long-range validations that are taking place.
When the bombardment ends, infantry units move in. Trained for desert warfare, they advance behind the armor, breaching trenches, seizing enemy positions, and consolidating captured ground under artillery cover.
Number 4, fire! Now that we have seen that the drones have done their work, it is the ground troops that are hitting the ground. You will see that the infantry wings, they have also entered the area that is of the enemy. With the vehicles on the ground, every possible support is being extended, and now they are taking control of the hostile situation that is there. The enemy camps are being taken over. These are the rocket launchers. These are everything here. You will see that is on the mobility. Why it is being done? That first the assault has taken place. We saw the helicopters dropping the troops into the operation. Second, what we have seen, that the drones have swung into the action. Then it was the tanks including the T-90 Bhishma tank that got into the action, and we saw that the tanks have decimated the enemy's infrastructure that was there. Now the troops have entered this very area. You will see taking cover. Since this is an open area, it has to be very precise. It has to be very calculated operations that are taking place. And now as we speak, you will see loud bangs also taking place, but the infantry troops, they are also moving. You will see drones have also swung into the action. Why these drones? These drones are different from what we have seen earlier. Earlier the drones were dropping the explosives into the enemy area. But now what is happening, that these drones are carrying our own supplies. So this is a supply chain that these drones are providing. And also now inducted into the operation is the all-terrain vehicle that you will see. These ATVs are capable of moving into every possible domain. I'll request Rawatji to move to the ATVs that are moving. You will see how this is braving all these desert odds, all the challenges, the demographic and geographical challenges that it have. And now to the other side, to the drone. I'll request Rawatji, because the first drone has dropped, that is on the other side, and the drone that is here on the other side, that is also going to drop the consignment, because this consignment dropping is very important. It provides an assistance, and this is the payload that being dropped, and it will now be picked up by the troops on the ground and will be used for the operations. So this is how the every aspect and the every wing is contributing to these multi-domain operations, because these kind of high contested and complex operations are the one that actually test a force, and this is what the Indian Armed Forces are actually known for, that they have integrated created this entire system, that is the jointness, Atmanirbharta and innovation in such a manner that they can carry out the operations in any hostile situation like we are witnessing here.
The tempo intensifies. Indian forces now launch a full-scale counter-offensive. Tank regiments, BMP infantry vehicles and artillery batteries move in unison across the Thar Desert. Their goal? Dominate before the adversary can regroup.
Now is the time when the armed forces are carrying out the operations to completely flush out the enemy's location, and here you will see that first the advancement was of the T-90 tanks that are rolling on the ground, while on the very right I'll request Rawatji to move to this area, that these are the BMPs that help to move the forces into these operations in such hostile situations and the places where we have seen that it is almost impossible for other vehicles to even fly on this. These BMPs are the actually real difference makers for the armed forces, because what we have seen that these operations requires the quick movement of the armed forces, and that too in such a manner that it leaves enemy with no chance to actually carry out any counter offensives. Right now the visuals that you are seeing are from the Jaisalmer. This is the place where the exercise Trishul is taking place, a major component that is exercise Akhand Prahar, the uninterrupted strikes. It is similar name to what we have seen on the 6th and 7th of May when India carried out the precision strikes on the terror bases of Pakistan, followed by the bases of the Pakistani armed forces that tried to target our main cities. And now you will see that this entire desert will have the presence of the first it was the tanks, and now is the BMP-2s that are moving in the area. This all is ensuring that these multi-domain operations are success, and that too at a time when we are witnessing that the adversary is trying every possible way to disrupt peace and to provoke India.
At the same time, another formation makes its mark, the Bhairav Battalion. Deployed for the first time in a major integrated exercise, this future-ready commando unit operates under the Rudra Brigade.
For the first time on the television, we are showing you the Bhairav Battalion. These are the Bhairav Commando Battalions of the Indian Army. These have been deployed in the western sector as part of the exercise Trishul that is taking place. I'll request Rawatji to come this way so that we can keep showing you the visuals. It is the Southern Army Commander who is reviewing the exercise Trishul that is taking place, and this has the active involvement of these newly raised battalions. This is the Bhairav Battalion. On the shoulders that you will see that why they are special. They have the sophisticated weapon systems with them, and these are so sophisticated that they carry out the operation almost in line with the special forces of the Indian Army. These snipers that you see, they have been camouflaged in such a manner. I'll request Rawatji to come this way where the Southern Army Commander.
Trained for high-tempo mechanized warfare, the Bhairav commandos move with precision, striking, adapting and blending into the chaos of modern combat.
इस प्रकार से ये एक्शन में आते हैं, एक्चुअली ये घोर नुकसान पहुंचाने की क्षमता रखते हैं दुश्मन के ऊपर, और जिस तरीके से हमने इनको पिछले 4 ही महीने हुए जब से इनको खड़ा किया गया, और वो एक दिन था 4 महीने पहले, और आज का ये दिन है जो आपने कल मरुज्वाला में भी देखा और आज अखंड प्रहार में भी देख रहे हैं। जो ये भैरव प्लेटून है, जो ये जो भैरव की जो बटालियन है, जिसकी 2 असॉल्ट टीमें हैं, किस प्रकार से और क्या क्षमता रखती है। मेरा ये मानना है कि जो हमने इन लोगों को खड़ा किया, और ये आर्मी हेडक्वार्टर के निर्देश अनुसार था, इनको सन ऑफ द सॉइल कॉन्सेप्ट पे खड़ा किया गया, यानी कि इस पलटन की भैरव बटालियन जो है, इसमें 83% जवान जो हैं या रेगिस्तान या राजस्थान के रहने वाले हैं। तो ये इस कण-कण, इस ज़मीन के कण-कण से वाकिफ़ है, और इस एरिया में इतनी भली भांति समाज आते हैं कि जो ये आउटपुट निकालते हैं, मेरा ये मानना है कि जिस प्रकार से ये लोकल यहाँ के रिक्रूटेड फौज है, पहली बात। दूसरा, इनके पास नए औजार, नई तकनीकी इक्विपमेंट से ये लोग लैस हैं। तो जिस प्रकार से ये दुश्मन के ऊपर बरस सकते हैं दिए हुए किसी भी टास्क पर, इनका जो टास्किंग ऑर्डर है वो एक घातक प्लाटून जो कि एक इन्फेंट्री बटालियन में होती है और जो हमारी एसएफ बटालियंस हैं उनके बीच की इनकी हरकत रहती है। इनका तभी इनको लाइट कमांडो बटालियन का ओहदा दिया गया है और एक लाइट कमांडो बटालियन के चलते ये जो भैरव बटालियन है ये टैक्टिकल लेवल मल्टी डोमेन टास्किंग कर सकती है। टैक्टिकल लेवल पर
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
The visuals which we are seeing on the screen are visuals just around 7 o'clock. This blast is reported somewhere between 6:45 and 7 o'clock. The death toll is rising right now. We have NIA on the spot. This is a huge explosion because there are the mangled remains of
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा।
Undeniable Pakistan link to Delhi blast. Turkey, Pakistan, Afghanistan terror network nexus. Time for a complete crackdown on terror modules, debating tonight at 9 p.m. Delhi blast, wake-up call against radical terror. Radicalization debate takes center stage. Time for Muslims to call out Islamist radicalization, debating tonight at 8 p.m. Undeniable Pakistan link to Delhi blast. Turkey, Pakistan, Afghanistan terror network nexus. Time for a complete crackdown on terror modules, debating tonight at 9 p.m.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, the Red Fort blast probe is exposing the extent of the chilling rise of radical Islamist networks in the country. As radicalized Islamist groups proliferate across the country, Republic also exposes the undeniable Pakistan link tonight to the Delhi blast plot. Ladies and gentlemen, what I've always said stands proven today. We have come to know, in the aftermath of the Chandni Chowk terror attack, that there is a deep penetration of Islamist, radicalized, fundamentalist, terrorist and pro-terrorist networks in India, much more than you knew. Much more penetration, ladies and gentlemen, all across of the dangerous Islamist ideology, much more deep penetration closer to you than you may want to believe. Somewhere around you, there are these Islamist, fundamentalist, pro-terrorist, radicalized, Ghazwa-e-Hind kind of sleeper cells of terrorists. If this is not Islamist fundamentalism, then what is? What is? Do not be in denial anymore. Do not think. If you're watching this from your cozy living room, in a high-rise or a gated community, thinking it will not hit you, don't fool yourself, it will. There is so much penetration of Islamist, terrorist and Islamist ideology in this country. The arrests of Maulvis who are spreading the concept of hyper-urban terrorism proves the pipeline of radicalization from Kashmir to Haryana. Al-Falah University, Faridabad, now under the lens for financial transactions. They falsely claimed A-grade accreditation, misleading students and regulators. Multiple accused, all dangerous, radicalized terrorists. They could be moving around in a mall near you. They could be having food in a fast food joint next to you. You would probably think you are safe, but you are not, because they have surrounded you all across, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to start identifying these people one by one. There are all these radicalized people, radicalized group, people with extremist thinking. dangerous people, jihadis, Maulvi Irfan Ahmad in Shopia, talking to people in Pakistan, Hafiz Muhammad Ishtiyaq living right next to the Al Falah University campus, quietly going and buying vegetables one day and then arranging explosives the other day. All these people, Dr. Shaheen, going to malls, going to shops, general stores, and now it is found they were carrying detonators, explosives, logistics, all moving around silently saying we are professionals by morning, terrorists by night. Taking government funding in the morning, working for government establishments, studying on our taxpayer money in the morning, and jihadis by night. So if you want to think and you're watching this saying that, oh, but this happened in Chandni Chowk, it will never happen to me. No, these people are deep, they have penetrated deep, they have penetrated institutions, they have penetrated quote-unquote civil society, they have penetrated academia, they have penetrated NGOs. They are carrying the guise, some people in the form of media maybe, and they are disguising themselves and they are moving all around, and you would never know how radicalized the person sitting next to you actually is. So be very careful, ladies and gentlemen.